sorry, press the wrong button, so I'm gonna have to add it. There's even gonna be a blooper here. Because I'm gonna add the 7 seconds I did that was not included. So yeah, so in the first game, the in the ocarina of time, the hero of time playthrough, right? There's three different. I think it's timeline. One of them is Majora's Mask. One of them is Twilight Princess. In timeline, the clue we found to Link being dead in Twilight Princess. And in Twilight Princess, we find a Stalfos that is supposed to be the hero of time, being the Link, right? At the end of the Ocarina of Time, Link is going through the Lost Forest, the Lost Wood. And it's such a nice picture because if he lost in real life, so he goes to the Lost Wood, trying to find for his best friend Navi, without whom he feels again lost. He goes into the Lost Wood. For 3 days, and then he died and becomes a Stalfos, right? So there's multiple reasons for that. A lot of people believe that Termina, myself included, believe that Termina isn't an alternate reality, but more so the limbo. So Link, it's not clear as to how much time he spent in the Lost Wood, but in the Ocarina of Time, there was multiple times where they said, "Hey, 3 days in the Lost Wood, you're becoming a Stalfos," right? And if you see Majora's Mask, the day before the moon goes down is 3 days, right? So if you finish the game, right, you got dawn on the 4th day, which is Link dying. Now, there's a pretty cool scene with that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It is so good. The first scene is we see Skull Kid draw him and Link together. The Skull Kid was also a kid that was in the Lost Wood. Link was lost in the Lost Wood, right? These Stalfos, once again, that we find that it's supposed to represent the hero of time, which is supposed to be Link. Now that it's 3 days, the 4th day, and it's such a beautiful story if it is. So Link is dealing with a lot of shit just because a very simple reason. He ended up saving Hyrule, saving the entire kingdom of Hyrule. Every single race he saved them. Even though it's temple per temple, he still saved those races. And by saving those races, he dealt with a lot of shit. And when he come back from time, nobody knows what he did. Nobody knows what he went through except for himself. Right? So there's possible like a depression side to it. Link might be depressed. That's why he goes to the Lost Wood, right? It's to me, Link going to the Lost Wood is almost as if he wants to be forgiven. He wants people to forget about him, right? He did his job in here, and it's so cool because if you look at there's two possibilities. There's two clue that make me reason like that. The first clue is in the Majora's Mask playthrough, right? The difference in the timeline is Link goes back in time, kill Ganon, seal him, right, and he's sealed, so he wins. That's the honest to goodness playthrough, right? If you take out the sword, well, Ganon is gonna be off. So there's this belief that Zelda might be aware of what's going on because Zelda, Link, and Ganon have the Triforce. Link does have the courage, Ganon the power, and the wisdom is to Zelda. So goes to the terminal, right? And then he meets this world, and it's nice because this terminal world. This is why I do believe that Link is dead. Those people are a counterpart of their Hyrulean. So there's a lot of people model reuse. Now there's a reason for that, right? Ocarina of Time came out a year before Majora's Mask. The reason why these two were so close is because they wanted to use the system of the 64 They wanted to use it before. They wanted to come out with the two games before the 64 ended, and Majora's Mask one of the last game that came out on the 64. If you look at the next entry in the timeline of real life, the game that came out, it's Wind Waker. Wind Waker, which was on the GameCube, which was the next generation of Nintendo after Nintendo 64. Important to understand, important to realize, right? So they wanted to reuse the model, that way they would gain time and they could focus on the story and the mechanics. But narratively speaking, it makes sense. Link, whole Limbo, is the same people of Ocarina of Time, the same people of Hyrule. The fact that he helps them is another way of saving them. The effect of saving them is still being a hero. Now, the personal reason why I believe this is Inky thought, why I believe is that I theorize that the Stone Tower could lead to the Lost Wood. I theorize that the Stone Tower could have led to the big chunk of the tree, right? Which is kind of crazy because even if you look at the people of Ikana, they're Stalfos. They're Stalfos. If you end up in Lost Wood for a longer period of time, they're Stalfos, right? So in the Stone Tower, which is one of the ways to go there, you find an enemy wearing a sight, and he's supposed to represent death. So there's a chance that Link died there. It's kind of cool because there's something called the 5 stage of grief, right? Which is something when you lose somebody, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's a stage of grief for Navi. I believe it is for Link. And it's kind of cool because there's... Oh my god, it's tough, dude. It's really fucking tough. It's tough because those 5 stages of grief, right? They weren't pronounced as official. So what happened with Majora's Mask, it was another writer. It wasn't the usual writer for Zelda. So that writer was very not secretive, but he didn't let a lot of information come out. Can I clean the lens? Come on, press pause, dude. So the question was asked multiple times, but it wasn't denied and it wasn't confirmed. So if you look, so the theory that has been put on the internet, the theory that has been put on by Matt Pat himself, is that the 5 stages of grief are present. So the first area they're in is Termina, and Termina and the Clock Town, people are in denial because we're seeing the moon fall. So if you do the 3 days, if you assist in the 3 days of the cycle, the Termina people are going to be like, oh, we shouldn't leave, it's not going to fall. And then the more it goes, the more people start to believe it's going to fall, and they just leave, right? And then there's a bunch of people at the very end that are willing to say, there's this construction like leader, if you will, who stays and say, hey, it's not going to fall, right? Which is super cool. This is denial, it's not going to fall. If you look at after that we have the Deku. The Deku feels anger at the second stage of grief. The second stage of grief, the Deku leader, his daughter is kidnapped. There's not a precise reason why she's kidnapped. We never learn why she is kidnapped. There's not an explanation in the game, which sucks. It's okay though. It's okay. Oh, sorry. There you go. Perfect. It's not clear as to why it happened, but it happens. But due to his anger, he accused innocent people and is willing to accuse anybody and everybody, right? So it's kind of cool. And even if you see the spirits, so the spirits of the Deku, I'm gonna do another video for that. It's gonna be super cool. I have a bunch of ID today. If you look at this, if you look at the third stage of grief, it is negotiation. If you look at the Goron village, they negotiate. They're always like, oh, Darmani's gonna save us. If Darmani cannot save us, we won't be able to save ourselves. Darmani being the hero who went to chase. They're negotiating with the cold because Darmani is supposed to come back victorious. Right? It's super fucking cool because this is negotiation is something that is even. I'm gonna continue with the ink thought after. The fourth one is acceptance, right? Wait. Denial, anger, acceptance. There's 3 of them. There's more of that. I don't know them. Wait a second. There you go. I forgot about the Zoras. Zora or depression. Zora or... And it's one of my favorites. I cannot believe I forgot it. the Zora are depressed. You see one of the main character, which is Lulu, right? And Lulu, she lost her kid, which makes her depressed. She lost her boyfriend or her husband. It's not very clear. Michael, which is the mask you assume, and because of that, she's depressed. She won't talk to anybody. She's depressed. But there's also more increment to that. Depression is the fact that the water is murky. The water is too warm to reproduce. So there's no way to reproduce, and there's no way to assure there's gonna be another generation, which means they're the last generation, right? And there's Zora dying. You can see Miko dying, which is kind of crazy. Last one, we got acceptance from the Ikana Castle. Ikana Castle that was fighting. When you defeat them, right? You got Link. You got the king who tells Link, "Hey, I understand we did wrong. It wasn't about the war. We've been killing ourselves. It's acceptance that it's finished. It's acceptance that they destroyed themselves. It's acceptance that they're responsible for their own death." That's basically the side shift grief. But why? What I want to add to that, the inky thought is, even if you look at Link, right? There's this beautiful thing. Link, when he first comes to Termina, is in denial. He cannot believe that he's a Deku now. He cannot believe that the world is gonna end. He cannot believe that he's stuck there. He doesn't know what to do. He's in denial because he's not able to go back. He's in denial that this is the end. He's in denial of his reality, right? The anger when he comes to the it is so cool. The anger is when it comes to the whatchamacallit, when it comes to the Deku, right? He's being treated like shit. Even as a Deku, he's being treated like shit. You understand it's by frustration that he's stuck here and he has to be part of something that he didn't want to take part of. Link already took part in the Ganon War. He doesn't want to be part of another war that he has nothing to do. He's like, he's stuck here. He didn't choose to be here. You got bargaining with the Goron where he finally accepts that he's stuck here, right? And that maybe he has to save the world just to save himself. This fool got depression, understanding that no matter what he does, is that realization that the 3 days you constantly have to restart. The realization that those people that you're helping, right, you're not gonna be able to help them forever. And it's so cool. It is so cool because of depression. You can think about how Link finally understand that he's not able to save everybody, and that is the biggest part of the game. It's such a big part of the game. I'm gonna tell you at the end why it's such a big part, and then we got acceptance and Ikana Castle. That acceptance that no matter what he does, he's not gonna make it. He's the 3 days. This is, if you believe he's dead, he's understanding that, yeah, I'm gonna become a Stalfos no matter what. I don't have a way to go back up. I don't have a way to go back to Hyrule. If it was to go back to Hyrule, I wouldn't be able to go back in time out of the Lost Forest. That's pretty much it. The reason that it's important when you fight the final boss, right? When you fight the final boss, there's this. You go inside the moon. Inside the moon, there's 5 kids running, and people tend to forget that the Majora's that Link is still a. He is still a what should I call it? He is still a it's tough. It's tough. He's still a part of the. He's still a kid and he still want to play. He never had his childhood, right? So there's a part that he has a master salesman. The master salesman is kind of the only person that knows both Hyrule and Termina. Everybody else is stuck in Termina. The master salesman, who is the only person that understands who Link is, who shares his pain, who understand that there's something weird about the master salesman, right? And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, so you got this place where it's calm and you could live there. The inside the moon, right? Inside the moon is it's kind of masterful. It's my favorite part of the game. And the moon, you get a place where you could just play with people. You don't have to worry about the world destroying. It's possibly paradise. It is possibly paradise. And when you destroy the moon, you destroy your chance of paradise. And what is cool is the kids are asking Link, hey, are you truly helping people? If you're helping people, are you truly making them happy? Are you making decisions for them? Right? And the final boss, when you give every single mask that you help those people, they said, their last kid, which is Majora's Mask, said, hey, you want to play bad guy versus good guy, you're the bad guy, right? Bad guy, run. And if gave you the first deity mask, the first deity mask is possibly the ghost of Link. So my theory is, if Link is dead, it's kind of cool because the Deku, right? We had the spirit of the butler's son. The Goron, we had the spirit of Darmani. The Zora, we had the spirits of Michael. but we never had a spirit for Link. The first deity might have been the spirit for Ink, and if the spirit for Ink, then he's a bad guy because he comes in from Hyrule and he destroyed every plan. He changed the face of Termina, and he's just like, dude, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna come in as this alien and change everything. Which is why I believe Link is dead. Link's spirit is first deity. We spend the entire game healing souls when the soul that needed to be healed was yours, right? And at the game, what is really, 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 really fucking cool, right, is the end, and it's so important. A lot of people don't realize that how important it is. A lot of people don't realize that this is a crucial part of the plot. Your ending, and again, I did mention the three people, right, who were from Hyrule is the masked salesman, the Link, and the Skull Kid. The masked salesman, he returned to the place because he's able to travel. We don't know why. We don't need to know why. There's something fishy about the guy, right? Then there's Link and Skull Kid. Skull Kid returns to the Lost Wood, and Link returns to the Lost Wood where he dies. That's pretty much it, and it's kind of cool because when the maskman leave, he disappear, right? And it's so nice because the last scene is literally Link and Skull Kid in the forest, and you can hear Saria's song, which means they're stuck in the Lost Wood. That's why I believe that Link is dead. Even if it's not dead, the image of the hero of time that became his Stalfos is dead. The hero of time is dead. It's not because Link is a Stalfos that he's dead, but because the hero of time is dead. That's what I wanted to say. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.